All right, good morning, people of YouTube. So this time we're back again today with another deck profile. This time we got Ragnaloardmon. So this deck came out with a new structure deck, which gave this deck a lot of new tools that are very, very strong. This is still a rogue pick for the Bt10 meta coming up. Not a lot of players really believe in this deck because they think it is either slow or inconsistent. So I did my best to make myself the fastest and the most consistent version of this deck, and through a couple rounds of revisions and rough drafts and things of that nature, we've finally landed on a build that I'm comfortable sharing with you all today. And yeah, without further ado, we'll go into some of the picks and what makes this deck so great. So if you guys like this kind of content, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and see what this egg does. So the new Sakudomon says on your turn, if you play a Digimon by a card effect, you can gain a memory. This is really, really nice in conjunction with your option, with your level 6 effects, because what you're kind of wanting to do is you're kind of wanting using gotcha effects. So you reveal like the top 3 cards of your deck. If you hit a Legend Arms with a play cost of 7 or less, you just kind of slam it down, and you get a bunch of effects that way, including this one to gain memory. So this is really the only egg you want to be playing. So for this one, going on to the rookies. So our rookies are separated into 2 categories. We got our searchers and our shovers. So for our searchers, I got 2 copies of the old Zubamon and 4 copies of the old Ludomon. Searchers are pretty straightforward. You, on play, reveal the top 5, you add a Ragnalord and a Legend Arms card and put them into your hand. Rest go on the bottom. So this Zubamon is the only level 3 that we are playing in the deck that cannot evolve on our black egg. So that's the reason we are playing 4 of this Ludo instead of like a 3-3 split, because for that reason this Ludomon is just objectively better. But we have the 6 searchers, and then we have our 8 shovers, giving us 14 rookies. So I got 3 of the new Ludomon, 3 of the new Zubamon, and then 2 of the Spotamon that comes out in Bt10. So what I mean by shovers is all of these cards have an on-play effect that lets you place it underneath any Legend Arms Digimon that you have in play. Whenever you do that with either the Ludomon or the Zubamon, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a Legend Arms Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less, you play it. And for the Spotamon, if you shove it under a source, you get to de-digivolve 1 on one of your opponent's Digimon. So that's pretty nice. The only bad part about the Spotamon is that it is a 1 cost to evolve in the breeding area, which can slow you down a little bit on turn 1. But honestly, if you are forced to go first, evolving this for 1 memory is kind of nice, because then on your next turn you can get the extra draw to kind of like draw the level 4, or whatever searcher you need. Because ideally what you want to do in this deck is you want to open a level 3 plus a searcher, so that you can kind of start setting up your combo pieces. And if you don't do that, then, there are other lines of play. You can evolve into level 4 in the back. But these are the level 3s that I do play. All of these shovers also have an inheritable effect as well. The Spada is, when attacking, you get to reveal 3 from the top of your deck at any Legend Arms card. So this can grab the options as well. And then you bottom deck the rest. The Zubamon says if you attack, you get to delete something that has a 3000 DP or less, and the Ludomon gives you blocker. So all good inheritable effects. So that's my 14 rookies. A little higher than some Ragnalord decks out there, but I think it's necessary because you want to be playing with searchers. Because you can't really play memory boost in this deck. Because you're playing the split color, you'll just bottom deck too many cards and whiff too often if you play like red or black memory boost. So I think the searchers are kind of a necessary evil. So for the level 4s, I have 8 shovers. I got 4 Zuba Eager and 4 Tialuda, plus 1 more. I got the Dark Tyranno blocker from the starter deck. So for the Dark Tyranno, I just wanted a 9th level 4 so that I increased my odds of being able to evolve in my raising area. And I wanted something with a 1 cost. Blocker comes up in a pinch, so that's kind of the reason for this card. But this card could be really anything. I don't want to play the old Teoludamon or the old Zuba Eager because they only activate their inheritables on level 7s, and by the time you go into your Ragna, you're probably already winning, so you don't really need the inheritables at that point. But for the Teoluda and the Zuba Eager, both of them have a shove effect. On play, you put it underneath one of your Digimon. The Zuba Eager lets you pop a 5k or less, and the Teoluda gives you Reboot, which is really nice because, like the Ludamon, its inheritable effect is Blocker, and the Zuba Eager has the same inheritable as the Zuba, which is, when attacking, delete something that's 3k or less. So this card helps you clear boards. This card helps you stand back up and be a menace on your opponent's turn. Ragnaloardmon plus Reboot Blocker if it fails. Even getting a Death X with this is really nice. So these level 4s, I wouldn't play anything else. I think they're all very, very solid. The one that I'd throw around and maybe change is the Dark Tyranno, but yeah, because you don't really need Blocker because you have so many ways to get it, like with the Teoluda and the regular Ludo effect. But if you have a better idea for this level 4 slot, let me know in the comments down below. For the level 5s, I just play the starter deck level 5s. I play the 4 Raiji Luda and the 4 Dura. These are objectively the best ones to play because of their inheritable effects, which is at the end of your turn, Jawgrass, which comes up. If you have 3 memory in one of these in your raising area, right? You promote, you evolve into your level 6. This one will let you reduce the cost by 1. So let's say you have the Duranda in your hand. Sorry, cat jumped on the keyboard. So you have the Duranda in your hand. You evolve the Dura into the Duranda for just 2. You stay at 1 memory. You swing, and let's say you whiff. Like, you don't even hit anything, right? Off the top 3 on the Duranda. So you're still at 1 memory. You can hard play your black level 6 for 11, put your opponent to 10, and then Jawgrass into the Ragnalord and potentially win the game off of that. So the end of the turn Jawgrass is absolutely key. And that's why we're playing these level 5s and these level 5s only, because that's super important. The Raiji Luda also has your opponent's turn effect that says this card cannot be deleted by your opponent's card effects. And then the Dura says if you Digivolve into a Legend Arms or a black Digimon, you reduce the cost by 1. So these are all very essential. For the level 6s, we play the 4 Duranda from the starter deck, the 3 Braiwaludra from the starter deck, and the single copy of Baihumon. So the Baihumon seems a little bit out of place. And I'm not going to lie, it kind of is, but I just explained that we can do the Jawgrass play by just hard slamming the level 6s for 11 memory. If you hard slam this Baihu for just 2 more, paying 13, you can potentially just delete an extra security off of this effect because it says at the end of your turn, you can delete one of your opponent's security for every 2 unsuspended Tamers and or Digimon they have. So if they have like 2 or 3 Digimon out, you can slam this, trash their top security, and then activate your end of turn Jawgrass ESS, and then go into the Ragna that way, and then swing and then trash your security. So the Baihu's in there for that reason, but I see a lot of people playing more than one of this. I think it's really important to play the Legend Arms pieces because they're searchable off of your searchers. Like, you play the searchers for a reason, you need to hit your pieces. Playing extra copies of Baihu hurts the consistency of the deck a little bit because the level 6s are very important. But it is definitely worth playing. The Braiwaludra, whenever you Digivolve into it, you can activate the effect to reveal top 3 and then play a Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less. Duranda has that same effect, but whenever you attack. And then whenever an effect puts a card under these cards, you get an effect. The Braiwaludra says this Digimon cannot be deleted by your opponent's card effects or returned to hand or deck. And the Duranda says you get plus 3,000 in security attack plus 1. So if you're building up and going for a big push, like the main goal of this deck is to, chip 1 security, get your opponent to 4, get the Duranda up, swing 2, get them to 2 security, and then hard slam one of these guys, and then drop the Ragnalord and win the game that way. So your Duranda is your main one that you're attacking with, but if you have to pass turn to your opponent, the Ragnaloardmon is your best defensive option. They both also have really good inheritable effects. Duranda says your Ragnaloardmon isn't affected by security effects of options, and Ragnaloardmon says during your opponent's turn, your Ragnaloardmon isn't affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon. Which is absolutely insane. Giving your Ragnaloardmon protection from damn near everything is really, really nice. So we'll go into the Ragnaloardmon himself next. We play 3 copies of the new one from the starter deck. Now, what this card says verbatim, it's a DNA off of a red level 6 and a black level 6. When Digivolving, you get Blitz. And then when DNA Digivolving, for every 4 cards in your Digivolution sources, delete one of your opponent's Digimon in play with a play cost of 20 or less, and trash their top security. So if they only have 1 Digimon, but you have 8 sources, then you delete that Digimon and you still trash their top 2 security, which will happen a lot. And that's just really busted. Also, on all turns, whenever a card is removed from a player's security, you get to unsuspend this Digimon. So it can lead you to double swing plays if you have like the 2 level 5s and you're able to just Digivolve them up and have the memory to do so. Like, let's say you have multiple Sakudo stacks in play, and you hit one of your gotcha effects, then it's very possible that you can just have the memory to swing twice with this. But if this is mostly here for a failsafe, because whenever you take out their security with this, and then if for some reason you don't kill them, then you can unsuspend this and you'll have blocker off of your inheritables. So this is just a really, really good card. It is that final push for game. It does what Gallantmon did back in like 1.5, back when that was good, where you just trashed all your opponent's security and then hit them in the same attack. It's that same concept, but better, because you can do it to close out the game by putting your opponent to like 10 memory and win that way. So I really, really like this card. It does a lot for the deck, and I'm very glad we got it. For the other level 7s, I'm playing one of the old Ragnaloardmon. He has security attack +1, reboot, and if you Digivolve into him, you get to put a Brywaludra or a Duranda under him to gain 3 memory. So he costs 3 to evolve into, so you can basically evolve into this for free. This card is here for if you're in a position where the Ragnaloardmon play the Blitz Ragnalord won't close you out the game. You can evolve into this and provide extra pressure. You have reboot blocker, extra security swings. This card is still just really good based off of its stats. It's just got good numbers. The last level 7 I'm electing to play is the Def-X. This is a flex slot. If you want to build the super budget version of this deck, this is the only expensive card I'm playing. And this is absolutely cuttable. You can play a second Crimson Blaze in this card's place. But Def-X helps you control wide boards. It helps you punish your opponent for overextending. And if you have Brywaludra, you evolve into it, it gets the protection. You can evolve Def-X on top of Brywaludra and have a Def-X with protection, which is really funny. So I think for that reason, it is worth including, at least as a one-of. And it's just really good into this upcoming meta, so I do like this card. But for the options, I am playing the 1 Crimson Blaze. Again, if you want to go up to 2 of this card, you can cut the Def-X. Or you can cut this Gravity Crush, because this is the other flex slot that I'm playing. But this is just a card that makes sure that you can win the game with the turn you want to win the game. If you're ever in a position where you're like, damn, I wish I had a couple more memory and I could win, Gravity Crush does that. So, Bandai, please give me an Alt-Art Gravity Crush, make this card shiny. I play it in damn near every red deck. I think I've earned it at this point. The other option that we have is the 2 copies of the Legend Arms Alliance. This is a 4 cost that says you can play a Legend Arms Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less from your hand. And then it has a delay effect that lets you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. You can take all 4 of them and put them in either the top or the bottom. They all have to go to the same place. You can't put them all, like, some at the bottom and some at the top. But you get to change the order. So if you reveal multiple, like, of the shovers, like, let's say you reveal a Zuba and the Tia Luda, and then a couple other cards, you can make the Zuba first and then the Tia Luda so that you can play this, shove under, reveal the Tia Luda, play that, shove under. And depending on your reveals, you can kind of keep the chain going that way. This is a very, very powerful card, and when I was originally playtesting the deck, I played this card at 4. But it just clumped in my hand way too often, and it's not always optimal to just play this card. So I cut it down to 3, and it still clumped in my hand, and I think 2 is the perfect number now. Realistically, like, 2.5 is the perfect number, but obviously I'm not allowed to play 2.5 copies of this card, so I think 2 is fine. It's great. I'm very glad we got it, and it's an ultra powerful addition to this deck. The last cards in the deck are Tamers. I just play 2 copies of Hero. This card makes sure that the Duranda and the Brywaludra swing over everything that they need to swing for. Or if you're swinging with your level 5s, it makes them a little bit more threatening. Making sure that you can close out the game. Like, nothing hurts more than your Duranda hitting 14 off of its effect, swinging at security and checking a Death X, when Hero would have prevented that. So, it's a good card to play. It's kind of a failsafe. And I don't think the tie provides enough benefit, like the Bt10 tie, for the extra security attack. I think that this is just better in most cases because you will be gotchaing out a lot of Digimon. So by hard playing those, you won't have the 4 sources to trigger the tie. Whereas with Hero, you can just get the advantage of having the DP buff. But that's all I gotta say about the deck. It's pretty powerful whenever it goes off. Whenever it snowballs its way into a big Ragnaloardmon, it feels like it's pretty unfair. And there are a lot of times that you can just drop this card and win the game out of nowhere. And it will happen very often. And if you underestimate this deck, you will feel like you got robbed. So definitely be careful. Just be aware. Know what these cards do. That's all I gotta say. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.